A stranger crashed our anniversary dinner, pointed at my belly, and told everyone my unborn child belonged to him. Then my husband did something that left the entire room speechless. My name is Chloe Bennett. I'm 27 years old. 7 days ago, my husband and I were hosting both our families for our first anniversary. It was meant to be a flawless evening, especially since I was 12 weeks pregnant with our first baby. But halfway through dessert, a man I'd never laid eyes on rose from a chair near the back. He stared directly at me. Then he spoke words that turned the air to ice. He claimed the child growing inside me was actually his. To back up his lie, he pulled out medical documents and passed them around. Within seconds, whispers turned into accusations. My husband's relatives circled me like wolves, demanding he divorce me on the spot. I stood there sobbing, swearing the man was a fraud, but nobody listened. Nobody. Until my husband did something that even I didn't see coming. Trust is not handed out, it's a weapon some will try to steal. But before I reveal what happened next, please hit like and subscribe to Winds of Thought, and drop your country in the comments. Let's dive in. That evening, our house glowed with warmth. String lights, fresh roses, and a long mahogany table covered in dishes his mother had insisted on cooking. Relatives arrived in their best outfits, carrying wrapped gifts and easy smiles. From the outside, it looked like a painting of a perfect marriage. And for one fragile hour, I let myself believe it was real. I stood near the window, one hand resting on my small bump, feeling a private joy. We hadn't announced the pregnancy to everyone yet, but that secret made the night feel almost magical. My husband came up behind me and placed his palms over my fingers. "You okay?" he asked softly. I nodded. "I'm happy," I said. And I meant it. But how often does happiness survive the weight of other people's judgment? The truth was our marriage had never been simple. I grew up in a modest home. My parents worked 2 jobs each to give me a decent education. We had honesty and hard work, but no money. My husband, on the other hand, came from old money. His family owned real estate, businesses, and a lifestyle I'd only seen in magazines. When he chose me, I was stunned. So was his family. At first, they played nice. Polite smiles, carefully worded welcomes, but slowly the mask slipped. Little comments crept in, "She doesn't really understand our world," or "It's just different having someone from her background." I changed my wardrobe, my vocabulary, the way I laughed at dinner parties, all to earn their approval. Because I loved him, and I didn't want to become the reason he lost his bloodline. He always reassured me, "Don't listen to them. I picked you." And I believed him. That night, as the celebration continued, I noticed his mother and aunts exchanging glances across the table. I pretended not to see. I focused on the music, the candles, the clink of wine glasses. I kept repeating inside my head, "Tonight is ours. Don't let anyone ruin it." Then my husband stood up and raised a glass. The room hushed. He thanked everyone for coming, talked about our first year of marriage, and painted a picture of our future. As he spoke, tears welled in my eyes. For one perfect moment, everything felt right. And then the front door opened. A man I'd never met stepped inside. At first, no one reacted. Maybe a late guest, they thought. But he didn't greet anyone. He walked straight to the center of the room, turned toward me, and locked eyes in a way that made my stomach clench. The chatter died. "I'm sorry to interrupt," he said loudly. "But everyone here deserves the truth." My pulse became a drum. He pointed directly at me. "The baby she's carrying? That child is mine. For 2 seconds, total silence. Then the room exploded with whispers. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a prank, but the man's face was stone serious. I felt the floor vanish beneath me. I don't even know you, I stammered. He didn't back down. Instead, he raised his voice. We had an affair. And that baby is proof. Gasps, eyes burning into me. That's a lie. I cried, but he pulled a folder from his jacket and handed it to my husband's uncle. Medical reports, the uncle murmured. The timeline matches. Then the man held up his phone. Photos of us together. Photos that looked shockingly real. I froze. Those pictures, I've never seen that man in my life. But nobody was listening anymore. Have you ever been judged guilty before you could even speak? My husband's mother stormed forward. Before I could flinch, her palm cracked across my cheek. The sound bounced off the walls. You disgusting girl, she hissed. You've shamed our entire name. Tears flooded my eyes. I didn't do anything. She spun to her son. Divorce her. Right now. Other relatives piled on. We always knew she wasn't right. This is why we warned you. She came from nothing. She'll leave with nothing. Each word was a blade. I looked at my husband, silently begging him to stop the avalanche. But before he could speak, the stranger stepped closer. I didn't want to expose her like this, but I couldn't stay quiet. Something inside me snapped. Stop lying, I screamed. And then my husband moved. His face had transformed. He grabbed the stranger by the collar, shoved him hard against a side table, and shouted, "Enough." Then he threw a punch that sent the man stumbling. How dare you walk into my home with this filth? He turned to face the entire room. His voice was iron. I know my wife, better than any of you. A heavy silence fell. She would never betray me. I don't care about your papers or your fake photos. My heart stopped. I believe her. When the world chooses to blind itself, one pair of honest eyes is enough. But his family didn't retreat. His father stepped forward, cold and measured. Think very carefully, son. We built everything you have. His mother added, if you choose her over us, you're dead to this family. Another relative, your inheritance, your name, gone. The pressure became a physical weight. Then his father delivered the ultimatum, make your choice. We will not let this girl destroy our reputation. I trembled. This wasn't just about me anymore. This was his entire life, his wealth, his future, his bloodline. Tears ran down my face as I looked at him. I was terrified that even he might break under this much pressure. For several seconds, no one breathed. Every eye was on my husband. His family stood like a wall, waiting for him to abandon me. Then he moved. He didn't look at his mother. He didn't argue with his father. He simply walked to my side and took my hand. That one gesture said everything. Come with me, he whispered, and without a backward glance, he walked out the front door, pulling me behind him. Behind us, chaos erupted. His parents shouting his name, relatives pleading, but he never paused, not once. That night, we left everything. The mansion, the money, the life he'd known since birth. We sat in the car in silence. When the door clicked shut, I broke apart. I swear I didn't do anything, I sobbed. I don't know that man. Please believe me. He turned to me calm. I know you, he said. I trust you. I looked at him through blurry tears. No matter what anyone says or shows me, he continued, I will never believe a stranger over my own wife. Those words gave me a peace I cannot describe. But then his expression shifted. Serious, focused. This isn't over, he said. He's lying. And I'm going to find out why. What would you do if someone tried to destroy your family with a perfect lie? The next days, he didn't sleep. He made calls, leaned on old contacts, used every bit of influence he still had, because he knew one thing: that man was a fraud. The only question was why. At first, the stranger hid, ignored calls, changed locations. But my husband is relentless. Finally, he tracked him down, and this time there was no escape. Forced to speak, the man first repeated his story. But under pressure, the truth cracked through. He confessed everything. It was all a setup. My husband's family had paid him a large sum to crash our anniversary and accuse me. They'd given him scripts, fake medical documents, and edited photos. Every detail was manufactured. I couldn't breathe. My husband stood frozen, processing. Then he asked one question: why would my own family do this? The man lowered his head. They never accepted her, he said. They wanted you to marry a wealthy woman, someone who matched your status. And they didn't want her child to inherit anything or carry the family name. Those words shattered something inside my husband. He didn't speak after that, but I saw it in his eyes, a door closing forever. 1 week later, we drove back to his family's house. When we walked in, everyone looked surprised. They thought he'd returned to fix things, to leave me and reclaim his place. They were wrong. He stood in the center of the room, holding my hand, and told them everything. The hired liar, the fake documents, the edited photos, every ugly detail. His mother went pale. His father's composure cracked. Then his mother wept. "We only wanted a better future for you," she cried. His father added, "We did this for your own good. You'll understand someday." My husband looked at them for a long, painful moment. No anger, just deep, hollow disappointment. Then he said quietly, "I trusted you." The room went silent. I could have lost my wife and my child because of you. Nobody answered. He took a step back. "From today," he said, "I have no family here." His mother broke down completely. His father reached for him. But he didn't stay. He didn't argue. He didn't look back. He simply held my hand and walked away. This time, forever.